Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. Don't forget that we are in the month of October where we are giving all our attention, to breast cancer. Sometimes it may sound like a cliche, but this is real. It is killing people, in as much as you can do something about it with early detection, it is still killing a lot of people. Now, when we come to nutrition, sometimes when you talk about food, you ask yourself, but what has this got to do with food? What has having pains in your breast got to do with food? But you realize that everything is also taken, from what we are consuming. Even the drugs that you think, you are taking comes from, eat, absolutely, right? So whether they are coming from some herbs or something, don't forget that these are foods. And so we take certain, elements from this, put it together, make it drugs, and then you are consuming this. What if you could just consume this and not get to the stage where it's become medicine? There's so much we can prevent by checking what we are eating. We have here with us our Madam Special, Akosia Konadu-Iyadom, is state registered nutritionist. Hi, Akosia, I miss you.
Me too, and you look good in pink.
Thank you. We are just trying to spread the gospel.
Very necessary. Yes. You're welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Because I asked last week, I was like, where's Frima?
Yeah, I was
working.
That was the word I was looking for.
Working for God and for country.
There's something called work, so we're doing it. But of course, so we are looking at best foods for breast pain. In the first place, what do we mean by breast pain? What kind of pain are we talking about? Because you realize that at different stages, as a woman, you probably would have some kind of pain, sometimes even during ovulation, during menstruation. Is that the pain we are talking about?
I think you have to be here because she's really packed as far as everything I'm coming to talk about.
Because I'm a woman, so
no,
some of the pains
but some
I understand.
Of the things you are just hammering on.
Okay.
So breast pain can be as a result of hormonal fluctuation.
Yeah.
So as women, we have estrogen, we have progesterone. And when there are increased levels, they can cause pain in our breast. So you have women sometimes go like, oh, my breasts feel heavier because I'm ovulating. So 3 to 5 days before your menstrual period, you experience the pain. And normally before the egg breaks, now you go back to where you were. The pain is kind of taken care of. So the whole ovulation and your body kind of prepping itself for the flow to happen because there was no sperms to hatch that egg. That flow to happen can lead to you having breast pains. And sometimes it could be that you are breastfeeding. As a breastfeeding mother, you can also experience another form of pain in the form of something we call mastitis or sore nipples.
Yeah, that is painful.
It's very, I know you're a mother, so you know how it feels. And whenever I'm attending to mothers who just delivered like few days and they have that, I kind of rub their back and go like everything will be fine. Sometimes you go to the extent of doing warm presses for them because they are so much in pain, especially for the new moms or the prime moms. They have this pain, and I have never felt it, but then the looks, the tears in their eyes.
Yeah, sometimes you're breastfeeding and you are screaming,
you are crying. They are screaming.
It's
one woman held me like that when she was at that point, and I kept rubbing her back, and she was just holding me. I was like, I know how you feel. I'm so sorry about that, but then baby doesn't really see what you are seeing.
Of course, that's the joy of motherhood.
They want to breastfeed. And so depending on that, it can also cause you pain. And for some mothers too, it could be inflammatory, enhanced or induced breast cancer. So ideally, breast cancer is not supposed to give you that kind of pain. But then 1 to 5% of all breast cancer cases, they have that inflammatory thing linked to their breast cancer causing that. And so they will experience that uncomfortable pain in their breast. So you can have women who have breast cancer and they go like, especially the survivors, oh, I had no pains, I had a normal life. But another will sit down and talk to you about how excruciating her pain was. So it could be as a result of that inflammatory kind of breast cancer. For some women too, it could be that they have a lot of breast milk causing that pain. So their ducts are blocked. And they have this engorged breast. Sometimes they are so tender, you feel their breast and you go like, oh my God, is this going to burst?
Yeah, it feels like exploding.
And some have rigor where they are in extreme pain and they begin to shiver. So sometimes on the ward you have a mother who just delivered few days asking for they are covered with several blankets because you can really see that they are shivering. They enter into a state, some have even high fever due to the fact that rigor is taking place, and it's because they are so full that sometimes their nipple even vanishes.
Yeah.
And it becomes very shiny.
And it begins to drip, you know,
yes.
swell yourself
so
and all that.
It's such a blessing. So there are many pains or there are various factors that can lead to somebody experiencing that. And then unsupportive bra. Okay. The bras we wear can also be a reason. There are ligaments supporting the breast to the chest wall.
Yeah.
And so if your bra is not giving you the right support as far as holding you up is concerned, especially if you are endowed, you can also be experiencing pains in your breast. And then when you have an infection like mastitis, I spoke about it. Mastitis, you have the breast becoming reddish, swollen, and it's uncomfortable even for me to touch it or even imagine a woman going through that. So the breasts are engorged, and it's like you have sores, and it can be that terrible. And then when you are experiencing painful complications from breast implants, so either via saline or silicone, something can go wrong, just as the butt stuff can go wrong. So if that is what is causing this, I always tell you, go back to the one who did it, and afterwards seek a second opinion to know exactly what you are dealing with, because if it goes wrong as far as the silicone or saline is concerned, you can have pains in your breast. And then breast cancer, I've spoken about it. Breastfeeding, I've spoken about it. And then when you have a woman who can't also breastfeed, sometimes the breast is blocked and stimulation hasn't been done, especially with some of the hospitals we have around. Women don't even know that there is something called stimulation. And so after delivery, these are A, B, C, some don't even do antenatal classes. And so how do you learn that these are what you need to know, these are what you need to do? And so it can also lead to a woman not being able to even put baby to the breast, because I always in my presentations at the hospital will say the first 72 hours after delivery, it's very crucial. If you want to make sure you are properly breastfeeding, it is a window period for you to ask for all the help you can get. In the hospital, I tell you, even if I'm working in 60 inches heels, call me to help you breastfeed. Once you are in the house, you can't call me to help you breastfeed. We are all there to support you, so ask for it. So those are some of the factors that can lead to you having pains in your breast.
Let's look at the breast cancer pain you spoke about. Who goes through it? Is it a different kind of breast cancer? Are people, you know, based on your make, you know, susceptible to something like that, that you will experience pain? Is it something you did not do right? Is it, what will cause someone to have pain? Or, I mean, there's nothing you could do, but you are just not lucky, you know, to have that kind of pain dealing with breast cancer.
So, just like your intro said, we are what we are eating. And what may cause A in me may cause B in you, because you may have certain predisposed factors that puts you in a compromised position. I may have certain predisposed factors that puts me at a certain compromise. My grandmother is diabetic. My mother isn't diabetic, but once I know that it has something to do in the family line, it is up to me to make sure I am extra careful. If your mother, your bloodline, and with this, if let's say Koku is your husband, Koku cannot give it to your children. Sorry, Koku cannot give it to you, but Koku can give it to your children. And it's the same with you. And so when it comes to couple, whatever happens to me as far as my paternal and maternal lines are concerned, it's something you have to pay good attention to. My sister and myself were talking over the weekend about a woman who just passed. She suffered breast cancer, and her daughter is beginning to show signs of it. And so once you know that it's something that dealt with your mother, like I said, you are at a disadvantage as compared to somebody like me sitting here who may have had nothing as far as my bloodline is concerned to do with breast cancer. So when it comes to inflammatory linked kind of breast cancer, I would say that it is your body and the kind of whatever it is that it is responding to. And so for the other person, I sit here or they sit here and they go like, oh, I'm having no pain. For the other person, they are experiencing all the wrong things that comes with the inflammatory side. So I would say that to start off, this segment, if nothing at all, has preached good nutrition, or you eating well, you eating healthy, you eating a balanced diet. Stick to a balanced diet. We should cultivate a habit of seeing a professional. How many of us have ever ever, the typical Ghanaian walked into the facility and go like, I want to see a nutritionist, or I want to see a dietitian, I want to see a specialist, I want to check if everything is right with me. We always want to be healed, or want to always be at a position where we are blowing the sirens to see that there is an emergency before we seek professional help. But then, if you know your family history, if you are a woman for that matter of black descent, you know that you have a risk of breast cancer to an extent, and so you need to do A, B, C, D as far as everything that has to do with your health is concerned, and nutrition obviously has everything to do with your health.
Well, so now, if we need blood, we probably have an idea what we should be taking, okay? If, for instance, you have a running stomach, you have an idea what you should be eating. If I have pain in my breast, what am I eating?
Now, if you are breastfeeding and you have your ducts blocked due to engorgement, what you do is to express.
Okay.
So it's like you push the milk out, because sometimes these babies, their tummies are just like their fists.
Yeah.
And so it's just a little sack in there, sucking everything. And you can see this woman well endowed with everything full. This can feed a baby like 10 times. And so the best way to make sure you don't even also choke the child because you have a lot is to express and then spoon feed.
Okay.
Not bottle feeding. When you spoon feed, it's a way of making sure you are teaching your child to eat. It is faster that way. But with a feeding bottle, there's something we call nipple confusion. At a point, they can't identify between your nipple and the teeth. And so because the teeth is very comfortable for them and it gives them less stress, they don't have to use their jaws. Honestly, I'm enjoying the AC in the room. And so I would want this comfort over suckling your breast, and that will cut your supply. So you make sure you express and then you freeze. So depending on how long you want to keep it, you can keep breast milk up to 6 months in the deep freezer.
Yeah.
And for the freezer and other times, there are times allocated, some for a day, 2 days, 3 days, weeks. We all have a way to go about it and the right tools to use. So we have the pump, or you can do the manual one. I always want people to save money because I can express manually up to 500 ml for you. And you put it in the breast milk storage bag. Now, you eliminate caffeine. Caffeine worsens your pain. Reduce your sugar intake. Once your body is retaining fluid, your boobs will retain also. And then you cut down on alcohol and all that. Anything that will worsen your pain, anything that will cause retention of fluid, you need to make sure you deal with it. And then you eat low-fat diets.
Okay.
Now, low-fat diet will help you. Example are vegetables, the cruciferous fruits. So a classical example of meal I'll give to you is coleslaw.
Yeah.
So cabbage is excellent as far as anti-inflammatory properties are concerned. So if your kind of breast pain or breast cancer comes with the one that comes with pain, or any form of inflammation, if you have mastitis, engorgement, anything that when you touch, you are in pain, it has everything to do with inflammation. You need to pump anti-inflammatory foods into your meals, and so cabbage is one excellent anti-inflammatory food. And so you having a coleslaw will go a long way to help you as far as you dealing with that. And then there is the regulation of the hormone progesterone and estrogen with some of these vegetables. So if you can afford broccoli, fine. If you think it's too expensive, cabbage, fortunately for us, is affordable in our part of the world. So eating leafy green vegetables and paying attention to the cruciferous ones like cabbage, especially if you have that one linked to the inflammatory kind of breast cancer, will go a long way to help you. And then we have vitamin E, vitamin B6 rich foods. Okay. So including them in your meals will go a long way. With vitamin E, vitamin B6, sometimes there may be a need for supplementation. And so your nutritionist, together with your doctor or your oncologist, can come together and suggest one that will help you.
So vitamin E foods like what?
So vitamin E, the pulses, nuts, and seeds family will serve you the needs of the vitamin E rich foods. And so you eating, like I said, we always preach about eating a balanced meal. It will ensure that you have your staples. It will ensure that you have your pulses, nuts, and seeds, or the legumes. It will ensure that you have your fruits and vegetables. It will ensure that you have your animal protein and products. And it will give you your essential fatty acids and something like iodine. Eating from this group every day will make sure all these nutrients we are talking about is taken care of. Magnesium, also very good. An example of a classical source can be watermelon, which is very affordable for us. And then the supplement part, I spoke about it. Then you watch your sitting and sleeping position.
Okay.
Because sometimes how you sleep can even affect your back. I am a baby sleeper, like sleep on my belly.
Okay.
But sometimes, because I want to watch, I want to relax more, I like sleeping on my side. I know that's always causing me wahala. But then I do that until I fall asleep and change into that position. Know what works for you. Know the kind of bra to wear. If you have back issues or pains, make sure you see a professional to help you as far as managing some of these things are concerned.
Now, one pain with the breast is also when you're trying to wean the baby off breast milk.
Yep.
I don't know which pain. Between labor pains and that pain, I don't know which one you opt
Motherhood
for.
is a blessing.
It is, but comes with a lot of pain.
A lot of pain.
And the breast suffers a lot. That's why sometimes your mother can use her breast to curse you if you're not doing the right thing, And when they hold their breast and bless you, I think it also means so much because of all these wahala. So when you're trying to wean the baby off, now you are not expressing the milk for anything. And if you keep expressing the milk, it will still be coming. So how do you deal with that pain? And when you leave it to, that's when you have the gorging. It's so painful. So how do you handle that?
So there are traditional ways to go about it.
Okay.
And then whatever is...
Like you put ice on it?
Oh,
or heat or something?
I've even seen powder, but because
the powder works.
There aren't any scientific thing to it. I will always say that I respect our grandmothers. I respect our mothers. They were not health professionals, but some of the advices they gave us really is what we are capitalizing on to even sit here and talk about. So whatever works for you works, but then I will tell you to keep expressing and then try to hold the breast up. So when even you are trying to even get a lot of milk, we tell you to hold it up with bra just to support it. It's one effective way of making sure that you also try to bring things down, because just like you are saying, it's not just with weaning. I had a mother delivered, few days mother passes. There is baby passes.
Yeah, so
and
now
there is still breast
milk.
milk. So how do I handle it?
Yeah.
In as much as nature will automatically take its course, you need to make sure that, okay, if it keeps dropping, just express, keep it, hold it up with a bra, and let's hope that something happens with you as far as you trying to regulate it is concerned.
I just have recollections of my daughter in her first few months.
And it's very peculiar with each individual. For some people, as soon as baby is not there or they wean, the second day, everything is gone. Other people too,
you deal with it.
So
and,
you deal
sometimes
with
even wearing the bra, when you remove your bra, David, you feel like your breast is falling off. Because you can feel the strain right from your neck area and all.
But there are ways medical ways to go about it too. So like I said, it is different with person to person. So if Rema is so blessed and now we don't have breast milk banks to store breast milk, we'll have a way of going about it. But for another person, it could be the powder thing can even work excellently for him.
Wow, interesting.
You're coming to say something, I think.
Your baby, you say your baby.
No, I just remember giving her the expressed milk. So we had a plan, because the whole idea was, I had watched her mother, go through 9 months of carrying and all that. I couldn't bear the thought of her having to wake up every night to feed.
So I said during
during the day, I said, listen, you can feed her, do all of that. If you have excess, express, and let's freeze it, right? Then in the night, it's my turn.
Well done.
So I wake up, warm the milk, check the temperature. Then I do me and my daughter. Do
you know there are mothers who don't even know the temperature of the breast milk? And for him as a man, I think it's a plus.
I think it's important, because think about it. You yourself, as an adult, your tongue can get burnt. So a baby like that, you need to be able to check the temperature.
I'm telling you, there are fathers who don't.
Daddy-o.
Happy Daddy's Day.
It was a fun time. For me, I think that. And then it's great. And if fathers get involved, it helps with bonding with your children as well.
And the mother at that point needs a lot of help.
Yes.
Akosha, how do people get in touch with you?
Okay, so you can follow me. I'll try post this on Instagram at The Nutritionist Akosia, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Nutritionist Akosia. You can WhatsApp me on this, on 0243 350206.
Don't WhatsApp her on other things. Just
you have the number. Decide what you want to WhatsApp. Hey, thank you very well. You put it out there, so we have all kinds of questions that we want to ask you. So you are excused. Thank you very much, Akosia, for your time this morning. This is Breakfast Daily. We'll be right back.